Our next virtue is cleanliness. Cleanliness of spirit means coming close without fear, means coming close without fear to accept a penetrating gaze, knowing you have nothing to hide. It comes with a happy mind and constant checking. What is cleanliness? Cleanliness of spirit means coming close without fear to accept a penetrating gaze, to accept a penetrating gaze. That gaze shows you have nothing to hide. It comes with a happy mind and constant checking. Happiness in the mind is based on serenity, not reacting suddenly to mood or circumstance, neither flinching at adversity nor jumping for joy. A plainness in just it moves with the times, quiet but alert. It is also based on fulfillment of the senses. When the eyes are seeing the unseen and the ears hearing the unheard, piercing the subtleties of life, there is happiness. When reactions are based not on the incoming messages, on what is second hand, but on the deep original knowledge that is first hand, there is happiness. So what is it trying to say? That when we have nothing to hide, we have a happy mind, but constant checking. And when the mind is happy, and it is based on this serenity, it's not sudden. Suddenly we create or react on circumstance or mood, never flinching, going low at adversity or jumping for joy, which it moves with the times, quiet but alert. It is also based on the fulfillment of the senses. It is also based on the fulfillment of the senses. When the eyes are seeing the unseen, the ears hearing the unheard, piercing the subtleties of life, there is happiness. When we don't react on messages, what is second hand, but on the deep original knowledge that is first hand, there is happiness. Happiness exists when the mind meets life freshly. When the mind meets life freshly, doesn't fall into patterns or expect too much, but recognizes its own value simply because it is a marvelous piece of machinery. There is happiness when the mind is nurtured. When we take care of our mind, we create happiness. And on the first hand, it's a deep original knowledge. And when the mind doesn't fall into patterns or expect too much, it knows its value. This nurturing is a constant checking, a vigilance against imposters. When a mind is working deeply, it is alert, but sometimes in its silence, it misses the superficial threat. But sometimes in its silence, it misses the superficial threat, the endless flow of thoughts from other minds, to which it is exposed constantly. It can imagine these thoughts are its own. It can imagine these thoughts are its own. And instead of straightforwardly expelling them, it can imagine these thoughts are its own. We can know whose thoughts are these. And instead of expelling them, it tries to train them into quietness. This is called working with dirt. Anything that lands on the mind from outside and split into reactions is a pollution of the spirit. To be alert to this challenge, it is called life. To be alert to this challenge, it is called life. So, what is cleanliness? It is maintaining absolutely who you are. It is maintaining absolutely who you are, reacting from the core of you, disentangling irrelevance, moving forward in a straight line. And if anyone scrutinizes, they see only honest hard work, which doesn't mind being watched because it knows that perfection is on the horizon, away off but there. What does it mean? What is cleanliness is we react from the core, moving forward in a straight line, disentangling irrelevance. And if anyone scrutinizes, they only see, they see only honest hard work, which doesn't mind being watched because it knows that perfection is on the horizon, away off, but there. So let's summarize what's cleanliness. Cleanliness is when we are close to ourselves and we don't get scared, we have nothing to hide. Because the one who has fear is actually the one who has not known itself, who is unaware, and he has nothing to hide. And when we have nothing to hide, we have happiness. We are not dependent. Happiness is not dependent on any mood or circumstance or on any organs, senses. But it's like when the eyes are seeing the unseen, the ears are hearing the unheard, piercing the subtleties of life, there is happiness. So it's the first thing when the mind meets life freshly. It's not going into patterns or expectations. It's like happiness when the mind is nurtured. This nurturing is constant checking, in which the mind is working deeply. It is alert. And when there is silence, the best is that the endless flow of thoughts to which it is exposed, it is free from it. It can imagine these thoughts are its own, and instead of straightforward expelling them, it tries to train them into quietness. We don't have to expel our thoughts out, but train our mind into quietness. It's called working with dirt. Because when we slip into reactions, that's pollution. because to be alert to this challenge is called life. So beautiful. And cleanliness is reacting from the core of you. And we know that they see only honest hard work, which doesn't mind being watched. Honest hard work, because it knows that perfection is on the horizon. When we constantly work on our mind, nurturing it and training it in a right way, and bringing happiness, not dependent on anything, not dependent on any circumstance, not into any pattern, expectations. This kind of training will, which we know that will lead to perfection, which is on the horizon, which is a way off, but there. So happiness is nurturing your mind, training it to quieten, and that's happiness, which is a constant checking, which is to be alert, is called life. Om Shanti.